I am Alice of KHR Arts and Cloud Orchid Publishing, and today we are going to talk about how social media strategy is like a spider web. Let's get into it. So y'all might be thinking, that's kind of a weird analogy to make. What exactly do you mean by that? What I mean by this is that another analogy we can make is that social media is like an ecosystem. You have a lot of things going on, all working together, either toward a central goal or toward multiple goals. And that's how my social media works, is my social media is a massive spider web with primary goals and secondary goals. For those of y'all that have been following some of my posts recently, it is the month of April right now. I've been making some posts about why exactly I need a program like Hootsuite. For those of y'all that don't know, platforms like Hootsuite, Sprout, Meltwater, etc. are all social media management tools. I've had some people come to me and be like, I don't really understand what the point of this is. Why don't you just post natively in the platform? Some platforms even let you schedule out posts in advance. What do you need a whole software for in order to do that? Well, when you have as many accounts as I do that you have to manage and you're posting as much as I do, you need something bigger in order to manage all of that. And I just want to preface, this is not a sponsorship. This is not me trying to sell y'all on this software. This is why people like me who manage a massive social media presence need the extra help of software. Obviously, if you have a much smaller ecosystem going on, you probably don't need something like this. But someone like me, I do. So to give y'all some perspective on just how many social media posts I make and why it is just not feasible for me to make them natively on platform or even using some of the platforms like schedule ahead stuff, in 2024, I posted over 21,000 posts. And that number's only gone up since then. Over 21,000 posts. That's a lot. That is a lot. And those were just the posts that I scheduled in Hootsuite. That's not even the ones that I then went off on my merry way and did. So that number is bigger than that. So that is the volume we're talking about, y'all. And the massive number of accounts is because I have an ecosystem of brands that all work together. The central goal of all of my brands and all of my accounts and all of my strategy is, at my core, I am an author. I've talked about this in some of my other videos, that my reason for being, ma raison d'être, is to write books and be an author. That is, for lack of a better analogy, my My Little Pony cutie mark. This is what I'm meant to do in life. I've known this since I was 3 years old. There's not been a moment of my sentient existence where I was unsure about what I was supposed to be doing in life. This is what I need to be doing. It's what I've been doing with my life all day, every day, all the time. That's where my thoughts go, is writing things, being an author, doing the business of publishing, all of that. That is my main purpose in life. So everything I do, whether directly or indirectly, services that main goal. I then have other primary goals. With that, I have multiple YouTube channels that I want to get those monetized so that that can help offset my costs, so that I can have more income streams coming in, because your girl be poor. I've been laid off for 13 months now. Your girl be poor and she got bills to pay. And even if I get another job, having more income streams coming in is going to service another primary goal of mine, which is to own my own home so that I can finally be an adult and live happily ever after. So that is one of my primary goals, is having these YouTube channels and making sure that those are serviced with this ecosystem. The last one is my live streaming. So that is kind of attached to the YouTube channels, but it's also its own thing, is live streaming. And again, that one is so that I can have another income stream to help offset costs and so that I can better afford things. So we have this nice little triangle going on with the YouTube channels, the books, and the live stream. So those are the primary goals. Then we have the secondary goals around that with the individual branding. So we have my author brand, Alice the Author, which is my unicorn background that y'all see here, which Dex Greenbright designed. It's gorgeous. I love it. And of course, all of my cosplay stuff is a secondary branding to all of my brands, that it harkens from my professional modeling days, where I have always been a flamboyant person and dressed up. It's a big part of who I am and a big part of my branding, which then went on to being a professional performer, being even more flamboyant, and now I work as a professional cosplayer and Instagram model with all this stuff. And again, that all feeds the beast of the triangle of goals. So doing these videos with y'all, dressing up in cosplay, doing my live streams, dressing up in cosplay, going to author events in person, dressing up in cosplay. Y'all get the idea. So the primary brand, Alice the Author. And then we have another primary brand, KHR Arts, my gaming brand. And we have the third brand, which is a co-brand that I share with my best friend, Brian Thompson, Cloud Orchid Publishing, which is an evolution from Cloud Orchid Magazine. That is the publishing house that I publish all of my self-published books under. Cloud Orchid Magazine is where we got our start with creating and publishing fashion magazines and doing fashion editorials for other magazines under that basically editorial house. Then the last brand that I have is the Alice Files that Neil and I share together, that we have been building that YouTube channel and that brand. All of these things all feed off of each other. So all of my Alice the Author branding has a Facebook page, has an Instagram account, and then also this YouTube account. And that's the same for KHR Arts. It also has a Facebook page, it has an Instagram account, and it has its own YouTube channel. Cloud Orchid Publishing, same thing. Facebook page, Instagram account, and the YouTube channel is shared with Alice the Author. The KHR Arts brand is also the brand for my live stream. Those are one and the same because it's the same deal. It's we take the videos from the live stream and we edit them and we put them on the YouTube channel. See how we got everything all working together here? And I talk about my books on my live streams, and I also advertise them on my gaming YouTube account. With all of this, with my books, I also talk about how, hey, if you're also interested, I also have a gaming channel that you can tune in and watch the live streams, and I also have the backlog of the old live stream videos on the YouTube channel. So having all these things work together, that I use one to advertise the other, a lot of cross-pollination here. And the same thing goes with the Alice Files, that I'm using a lot of my branding, Neil's using a lot of his branding in order to really pump up that particular brand as we really grow and get that brand started, that we're using all of our other branding resources in order to come together to build that brand. That it's, hey, you already trust Alice the Author and you already trust the Literary Mercenary. We're coming together to make this big, awesome project together. Y'all really want to check it out. I also advertise it on my live streams, and I also advertise it here on my Alice the Author channel. See how all that stuff goes together? And so having all of those social media accounts that I have to manage for all that stuff, I also have a Threads account, and I have a Blue Sky account, and I have a Twitter account, which are individual accounts where I just post everything on those 3 accounts. I'm not at a place right now where I can have multiple Threads accounts and multiple Blue Sky accounts, and of course, why on earth would I have multiple Twitter accounts at this point? The only reason why I still post on there is that I still get hits on there. If it was dead, for me, for my brand, if it was dead on there, I would have left. But the fact that I still get hits from there, it's like, okay, I'll post some stuff to the elephant graveyard and y'all can, fight over the scraps. That's fine with me. And then, of course, Reddit. Reddit is also where I just have one account on there and I just post everything under that account. I'm not making separate accounts for Reddit for each individual thing. The way that those platforms are, I just at this point do not need to separate out the brands. And not only that, I don't have time for that with just how much I manage. So we have Alice the Author Facebook, Alice the Author Instagram, Alice the Author YouTube. We have the general Twitter. We have the general Threads. We have the general Blue Sky. We have Cloud Orchid Publishing Facebook page. We have Cloud Orchid Publishing Instagram. We have the Alice Files Facebook page. We have the Alice Files Instagram. We have the Alice Files YouTube channel. I have KHR Arts Twitch channel. I have KHR Arts YouTube channel. I have KHR Arts Facebook page. I have KHR Arts Instagram. And then on top of that, I also have a website for Alice the Author. I have a website for Cloud Orchid Publishing. And those are just to name all the things that I today manage. That's not even all of the dead social media accounts that I have managed in the past, such as Tumblr and Pinterest. And at one point there was that like weird like pixel thing. And then there's also the ones that I researched and I'm like, you know what? We're just not doing it. Things like Mastodon, things like TikTok, things like that, like TikTok lookalike. There were a couple of them that I was just like, yeah, no, I don't have the time and energy to jump on this. And that's the other thing, is also having to understand that I have limited time and energy each day. What social media platforms are really going to work for me in the strategy that I'm building? Because it does not help to have an account that you don't post on and that you don't have strategy on. You want to make sure that everything is working together to serve you. And so having Hootsuite helps me to manage all of these accounts because I have so many, all like that whole list I just yammered off. And on top of it, the fact that I currently don't have the money to be able to upgrade my account to be able to have all of them on there. So there's still a list of them that I have to manually post every day, which is time out of my day. So there's ones that I'm able to like just bulldoze through the scheduled posting, and then there's the ones that I have to post them all myself manually every single day, and that's a pain. And then don't get me started on things like Instagram stories and reels and all that stuff that I also have to post manually because it's a lot. It's a lot, y'all. There's so much going on. Building all of this to make sure that it all serves your goals is the mistake that I see people make, is that they're just thinking in terms of, I'm just going to post everywhere and yell into the abyss and blah. You have to have a strategy. Ask yourself, why am I on this platform? Ask yourself, do I need to separate out branding, or is it okay for these to live together? Ask yourself, what am I trying to achieve? Ask yourself, how is this helping? These are all the questions you need to be asking yourself with your overall social media strategy, because mine are all working together to serve my goals, and anything that I find is not serving my goals, I get rid of it because I am a very busy person and I don't have time for things that are not serving me. So that's why I have had platforms go on the wayside where I'm just like, yep, this isn't serving me anymore. We don't need it. Bye-bye. Get out of here. Or there are brands. I have other brands that, I've been like, okay, we're sunsetting this because it just doesn't work anymore. It's not serving me for whatever reason, so we're just donezo. Making sure that you are constantly checking yourself to make sure, is this still serving me? Is this strategy still viable? All of these things are things that you need to be examining on a regular basis with your strategy and with the platforms that you're on. Honestly, I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm really questioning Blue Sky. Blue Sky is kind of on thin ice right now because it's been having just so many issues with posting. It like keeps getting, I don't know if it's hacked or they're having server issues or whatever it is, but their platform is going down a lot. I am getting like really not much engagement on there, which is frustrating and annoying, and again, why am I here? And on top of it, the fact that that's one of the platforms I have to manually post on, so it's extra, like, I'm putting in extra effort to a platform that's not really helping me. How necessary is this platform? Do I really need to be here? Those kind of questions are the things you need to ask yourself, because you want to make sure it's serving you. You want to make sure you're not wasting your time and effort. Whereas the Dark Horse Threads, at first I was kind of like, yeah, whatever, this is just Instagram 2.0, sure, whatever. Now that thing's getting real engagement for me, and now I'm starting to see results from it, and I'm like, oh, we're going to be putting more effort into Threads because now I'm seeing the results, and now we've kind of figured out the ins and outs of this platform, and we've figured out how to make it work for us. We like Threads now. Whereas now, Blue Sky, I wasn't excited to get on Blue Sky in the first place, and now I'm just like, yep, this isn't great. This isn't great. It's on thin ice. It's on the chopping block, y'all. It's gonna have to, I don't know, get better soon or something, because it's a big waste of my time currently. But having this ecosystem of brands and social media, you want it all to work together. And if you have brands that are very separate and don't work together, you need to really ask yourself, is it worth it to put forth all of that effort to have things that can't cross-pollinate and can't help each other? How much money is this generating you? How much is this really helping you in terms of getting your brand out there and getting yourself and your work seen? Really ask yourself these questions. Also ask, why do these need to be compartmentalized? Why can't you cross-pollinate them? What's stopping you from doing that? Make sure you're asking yourself all of these questions. These are the things that will change you from just someone posting on social media to being a social media marketer. This is the big difference that a lot of people don't understand, is that just posting for hours on end on Facebook does not make you good at marketing. It just means you have a lot of time to waste posting on Facebook. If you don't have a strategy, if you don't have branding, you ain't got nothing. You're just posting random crap and hoping for the best. And what I mean by strategy is make sure you're thinking about, what is this going to accomplish? How is this going to help me? For example, today is World Book Day. Amazing. Love that. Perfect day for marketing books. And that's what I've been busy doing all morning, is getting all of my World Book Day posts out and making sure that because it's only 24 hours, so it's only a 24-hour campaign, getting that out there to really push for, hey, celebrate World Book Day, buy one of my books, support me as an author. You know, it's a great day to celebrate that. It's perfect for that. That hashtag is trending. Checking on all that stuff. That is marketing strategy, is seeing those special days where there's going to be hashtags trending for, you know, whether it's a holiday or it's one of those special, like, you know, World Book Day sort of days, like Donut Day or, you know, whatever, those fun little days. Or if it's like an event sort of thing going on where it's like, hey, there's this big to-do about book bans going on, you know, get on that train and be like, hey, I'm going to be part of this conversation in order to further feed your strategy for, hey, I'm an author and this impacts me too. Those sorts of ways are indirect ways of being able to push your branding and things like that, is get yourself out there, get people seeing your handle, knowing that you exist. It doesn't always have to be car salesman, buy this shit, buy this shit, buy this shit. In fact, the majority of your strategy should not be car salesman, buy this shit. You want to have secondary stuff. Speaking of secondary stuff, literally this channel. Literally, this YouTube channel, y'all, is a secondary marketing strategy for me. Is that, yes, it is authentic that I'm giving y'all advice about writing, about marketing, about publishing, about working as a business person, as an author, about doing events, showing like, hey, I went to this event and it was fun, da da da. All that stuff we do here on this channel. At the end of the day, all of it is to service buy my books. I'm not, you know, I am, of course, right this minute, directly being like, buy my books. But in general, you watch the YouTube channel and, you know, I hope anyway, gain some trust in me that I kind of know what I'm talking about. And you're like, you know what? I want to support her. Let's go buy one of her books. I'm not directly saying that on most of my videos, but it helps build my credibility as an author and also helps get my brand as an author out there, gets me seen, gets my brand seen, gets my books seen, whether directly or indirectly. That's secondary strategy. That kind of strategy is so important to overall feeding your brand. You don't need to necessarily have things be that direct stuff. You can have outside stuff kind of feeding in that goal, and in fact, you should be thinking in that spiderweb mentality, in that, wait, at the end of the day, I'm an author and I want to sell my books. So I'm going to make this YouTube channel so that I can talk about my books, but also talk about other stuff of, you know, the writing community and other authory stuff in general to build my brand. And, oh, by the way, I also have this YouTube channel over here where I just play video games and have a fun, nice time. But, you know, every once in a while, I'll, like, talk about, like, what I'm doing with my books or la la la, just have, like, a little fun chat while I'm building something in Minecraft. And then over here, you know, we also have threads where I'm engaging directly with the book talk community, with the writing community, with just indie bookstores and everything in between, having that direct contact. That's feeding into my credibility as an author and getting my brand seen and out there. You see how all these little threads come in from these different places to all feed the center, which is, at the end of the day, I'm an author and I really want people to buy my books. You have to have primary goal, secondary goals, and then the secondary things all coming together to feed those things. Think big picture, y'all. That's the best way to make the success with your social media strategy so that you're not just running around making random posts and seeing what works and what flops. Because a lot of times there's going to be no way for you to know what works or what flops if you don't have a strategy, because you're just randomly punching in the dark and you don't necessarily know how or why you ended up hitting something. It was probably just dumb luck. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please be sure to give it a like. And if you're new, subscribe. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.